There are moments in car history when a company crosses a line it can never uncross. Moments that divide fans, define eras, and spark arguments that last for decades. For Chevrolet, that moment came in 2020. After nearly 7 decades of front-engine thunder, they took America's most iconic sports car and moved its heart to the wrong end. The C8 Corvette wasn't just a redesign, it was a rebellion. Mid-engine, exotic proportions, supercar ambitions. And for the first time ever, the Corvette didn't sound, drive, or even feel like a Corvette. To some, it was evolution, bold, brilliant, unstoppable. To others, it was betrayal, the death of a true American icon. So the question is, did Chevy redefine the Corvette, or did they destroy everything it stood for? For over 60 years, the Corvette stood as America's ultimate front-engine sports car, raw, loud, and proud. From the early C1s of the 1950s to the monstrous C7 ZR1, it embodied freedom and rebellion. But behind the scenes, Chevy's engineers were hitting a wall. The front-engine layout had been pushed to its limits. Even the mighty C7 could no longer keep up with the mid-engine supercars from Europe. So, they did the unthinkable. After decades of teasing prototypes and concepts, Chevy went all in, moving the engine behind the seats. The result? The 2020 C8 Corvette Stingray, the first production mid-engine Corvette in history. With a 6.2-liter LT2 V8 producing 495 horsepower, it could hit 0-60 in under 3 seconds. It wasn't just fast, it was Ferrari fast, at a fraction of the price. But that's where the trouble started. Because while the C8 performed like a supercar, many believed it no longer felt like a Corvette. The familiar long hood was gone. The view over the fenders, gone. The front-engine rumble and raw personality, replaced by balance and precision. Chevy hadn't just built a new Corvette. They'd rewritten what Corvette even meant. To understand the C8, you have to understand why it happened. For years, Corvette engineers, especially legendary designer Zora Arkus-Duntov, dreamed of a mid-engine layout. Even back in the 1960s, Zora believed it was the only way to unlock the car's true potential. But cost, tradition, and fear of alienating buyers kept GM from making the move. By the time the C7 ZR1 came out, the writing was on the wall. The chassis was maxed out. Traction was becoming an issue. And Europe was moving forward. McLarens, Ferraris, even Lamborghinis were out-handling everything Chevy had. So, when development for the next Corvette began, GM made a bold choice. Let's stop chasing supercars. Let's become one. The mid-engine design wasn't a gimmick. It was necessity. Better weight distribution, sharper handling, quicker acceleration, and improved cooling for high-performance use. And to their credit, Chevy nailed the execution. The C8 was shockingly refined, razor-sharp in corners, planted under braking, and stable at high speeds. It didn't just look like a supercar, it drove like one. But while engineers were celebrating victory laps, a storm was brewing among the purists. For Corvette loyalists, the C8 was more than a car. It was a betrayal. They'd loved the long hood, rear-drive layout that made the Corvette unique among performance cars. Suddenly, their beloved American icon looked European. Gone was the simple manual gearbox. Gone was the front-engine rumble that made the C7 roar like a thunderstorm. In its place, a sleek mid-engine shape that felt more Ferrari than Flint, Michigan. Car forums lit up. Some fans called it a plastic McLaren. Others said Chevy had sold its soul for lap times. and the transmission choice didn't help. Chevy ditched the manual entirely for an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic. Efficient, yes, but emotionless for many diehards. To them, the C8 wasn't evolution, it was assimilation. But here's the irony. While the internet was busy arguing, sales were skyrocketing. The C8 became one of the most demanded Corvettes ever built, with waiting lists stretching for months. It seemed Chevy had angered the few to impress the many. Here lies the heart of the controversy. Did Chevy make the Corvette better, or just different? From a performance standpoint, the C8 is a monster. It outperforms nearly every Corvette before it, and rivals exotics that cost 3 times as much. Its chassis balance, launch control, and stability make it easy for anyone to drive fast. But heritage isn't about numbers, it's about identity. And to many, the C8 feels disconnected from the blue-collar soul that made the Corvette legendary. Older generations loved that a Corvette was attainable, an American dream car built in Bowling Green, Kentucky, that could still tear up the track. Now, with rising prices, exotic styling, and supercar mannerisms, some feel it's leaving its roots behind. And yet, isn't evolution what keeps legends alive? After all, Porsche faced the same outrage when it switched to water cooling in the 911. Now, nobody questions it. Maybe the C8 is simply ahead of its time, and one day, even the purists will admit it was necessary. Love it or hate it, the C8 Corvette didn't just evolve the game, it rewrote it. It proved that Chevrolet, a brand often accused of playing it safe, still had the courage to break tradition and take risks when no one else dared to. In an era where most automakers are chasing EV mandates, SUVs, and cost-cutting efficiency, Chevy threw logic out the window and said, "Let's build a mid-engine supercar for the people." And that risk paid off, big time. The C8 captured headlines across the globe, stunned competitors, and reignited global respect for American engineering. It reminded the world that innovation doesn't have to come from Italy or Germany. Sometimes it's born in Kentucky. But the story doesn't end here. The upcoming Z06, with its flat-plane crank V8 screaming to 8,600 RPM, brings back the mechanical soul enthusiasts feared was gone. Then there's the E-Ray, blending hybrid tech with all-wheel drive performance. A glimpse into how Corvette might survive in an electric future. And hovering on the horizon is the whispered legend, Project Zora, a rumored hybrid hypercar that could challenge McLarens and Ferraris on their own turf. Each of these evolutions pushes the C8 concept further, from high-revving, naturally aspirated masterpieces to electrified torque monsters that defy physics. But with each step forward, a new question emerges. How far can they go before the Corvette stops being a Corvette? Is its soul bound to a front-engine layout, a manual transmission, and a blue-collar price tag? Or does its spirit live in the unrelenting pursuit of pushing limits, no matter where that journey leads? Because that's what made the Corvette legendary from the very beginning. It was never about fitting in, it was about standing out. It wasn't built to follow trends, it was built to set them. So now, it's your turn. Did Chevy reinvent the Corvette for a new era, or did they sacrifice the heart of an icon in the name of progress? Did they create the future, or bury the past? Let's hear it in the comments. I want to know where you stand. Because this debate isn't just about a car. It's about what happens when innovation collides with identity. And if you live for these deep dives into car culture, design revolutions, and the stories that make the automotive world tick, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Because here, legends never fade, they evolve, they ignite debate, and they keep the spirit of the road alive.